You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good day and welcome to the Mushie Moment with myself and my awesome co-host, Rev Cindy. We're live today on Tuesday, July 18th, 2023 on paceradio.net, CBG TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Boxcast, Roku, and Fire Stick. Welcome
There's
to
quite
the
a few
show.
places. Welcome.
So,
Good morning.
it looks like we're looking at the inside of your new van.
Isn't it great?
Oh. So Cindy's officially turned into a hippie chick now. She bought a Volkswagen Westphalia, and she's currently doing her podcast from the road.
From the road.
How are you doing on this fine and beautiful moment?
I'm wonderful. I'm actually sitting in a friend's driveway and using their internet because they offered me to sit here and do this. So it's been spectacular. I haven't been staying in the van the past few nights, of course, because I've been partaking in ceremony, and I've had a room here at the facility I'm at, which has been wonderful. But I spend my days in my van, and I'm driving around the Sunshine Coast, sitting on beaches, doing my laundry, and then setting it up in the van to dry. It's just been spectacular.
Oh, so you're being a hippie chick.
I'm being a hippie chick. Loving every second of it.
So you were saying you were over there doing some ceremony. So you've come over to BC from the fantastic Nova Scotia region, and you picked up your van, and you picked it up in the Sunshine Coast, up in Powell River, and yes. We went on a little adventure. There was you, myself, and Ashley from Elemental Growth. We went up on an adventure, picked up your van, went back down, stayed at a campsite.
Exactly. Yep. I was gonna say, before we went back down, we stayed at the most spectacular campsite that I've been fortunate to stay in. I mean, the trees were tall. And I think that's an understatement. There were wild mushrooms all over the place. Ashley and I went down to the ocean, and I got to witness it, and we got some pictures. She saved an octopus from being beat, like a baby octopus, from being beat against the rocks and being killed. He got him up into a little pool of water, and then hopefully he got swept out when the tide came, in and back out again. Saw some purple starfish. It's just, we were able to go down and meditate by the water, and that was just night one. And it was already absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome, because even in the evening when we got there, and I just stood out and when the campsites around us settled down and the lights kind of dimmed down, and you could look up, and we had those moments of the Aurora Borealis blasting off and rattling some color out through there, just in the horizon because the trees were so tall that you're just looking up into these massive trees with little gaps with stars, and then these flashes of green and blue. And yeah, it was pretty awesome. So, yeah. And then you decided that you were going to remain over there or go back over, because you were going to do some ceremony.
Yeah. Of course, we ran off and did Kambo last March in Ontario, and Ashley was the person that served us. I have had a calling from both the frog and the toad to learn and to learn to serve. So of course, what everybody tells me is that, well, you've got to go do it. Part of learning to serve it is doing it and receiving it from as many servers, as you can. So I searched out. It took me a few people, but I eventually found a practitioner out here in, on the Sunshine Coast. It's gorgeous out here. And who was willing to work with me and who had the time to work with me. And so it worked out. So I came out here. I got out here on Saturday and met her, and we spent a couple hours chatting before we jumped right into it. Like, I mean, on day one, and it's just kind of gone from there. Yeah.
So how did you find this person?
Through my iboga provider, actually. Gareth. I called Gareth and Blair, and I said, I'd really like to do Kambo when I come out. And they pointed me towards one lady who just wasn't going to be here, during this particular time. She's not going to be back in Vancouver until the end of this month, actually. She'll be back at the beginning of August, which will be too late for me because I would have moved on to other medicines by then. And so I called Blair and Gareth and I said, sadly, that didn't work out. They're like, well, we've got one other person we'll give a call to. And that's Magda here. And she was free. She was open to do it and she was excited to do it. So they gave me her information and we chatted probably over the last month. And here I am. And it was the right place for me. Things happen for a reason. The first lady didn't work out because I wasn't meant to go to her, at least not this time. I was meant to come here and meet this lady. And the universe knows that. So it makes sure that things work out when you go to try and manifest this stuff. And it really worked out for me. I met the most beautiful lady. And she has two amazing dogs who have kept me company during this whole process. It's a homestead. She grows her own herbs. She's got her chickens, fruits all over the place, medicine all over the place. It is, I mean, you come onto the property and you can feel the strength of the medicine that she has here. And it's a very welcoming spot, and it's for anybody that wants to, do this kind of thing. It's kind of like, everybody's dream. It's a beautiful homestead. People come here and they heal, and she has elders who come along with the medicine and they gift back and forth, and it's just spectacular. It's an amazing hippie healing homestead that I got to be part of for a few weeks.
Did you get pictures? Because if you didn't get pictures, it didn't happen.
Well, I'm not gone yet, so I'll go back and get pictures. Yeah. I spent my, after Kambo, I spent, an hour or half an hour to an hour down by the koi pond meditating and doing hape. Sitting under a Japanese maple, looking out over their backyard to the neighbor's backyard where their horses are frolicking. Two dogs running around me. Well, mostly just one because the older dog stayed in a lot. Yeah. So it's.
Well, let's go back to the beginning of that little run that you just did there. Is that day one you were talking about right there?
Yeah. So I came in and.
Let's start at the beginning of day one. Let's see. Tell us about day one.
Oh, well, day one was getting up at 6 a.m. In Richmond to hop a ferry over to the Sunshine Coast.
Thanks for not waking me up to say goodbye.
No problem. I did my best to not wake anybody up. So that was my first actually experience, taking off in BC alone in my own van. So that was pretty cool. Hopped the ferry, got over here, found the place. She was on a phone call, so I had about 45 minutes to spare. I lay down and took a nap. I was kind of nervous. And she came in and lit some sage, and we chatted for a couple hours, and we really connected. And then it was time to get into it, so to speak. I hadn't eaten or drank anything all day, except for a couple of mouthfuls of water because it was so hot and I was so dehydrated. But before Kambo, you can only drink so much and you have to do it right before Kambo. So it was time for me to start drinking my 2 liters of water. And I started on that, and she put the burn on my shoulder. And she said, "We'll start with one. And if I need to open more gates and give you more, I will." And I'm like, "Okay." So we started with one, and I didn't watch the dose, but it turns out that the 1 point that she put on me was pretty equivalent to the 3 points that I had received, first day elsewhere. So it was kind of the equivalent medicine day one and day one. Except for this time, holy hell. The first time was, I didn't go frog face. This time I went frog face. My neck swelled up. My chin and my jowls swelled up. I didn't see it because I was sitting on a mat, my back to the wall. We were just over 7 minutes in, and I could barely breathe. It had made my throat swell so much. For me, that causes a worse panic attack. So we decided that that was enough for today. So she took it off, and then everything in me came out. I purged out of every orifice that you could possibly purge out of, including every single one of my pores. The bottom of my feet were sweating. It was insane. Like, I mean, and I went through the final day of the last time. I went through a pretty heavy purge, but it was nothing compared to this. And I wasn't ready for that kind of purge because, of previous experience and silly me, putting expectations into my head. Never go into these things with expectations, ever. But I made it to the bathroom, and like I say, every orifice that could purge purged. In 20 minutes later, I felt amazing. I mean, like I was clean. When Ashley asked me that later on that day, how do you feel? Well, I'm clean. Like I'm clean. And one of the things that I did say to you guys when we were chatting after it first happened was I was having a moderate to bad diverticulitis attack for the past week before I got to here. Excitement and stress of coming to get a van and drive it home, and medicine and new people, combined with, I think I ate the wrong berries, and seeds got in there. Diverticulitis is not fun. And Kambo cured it in that one gate. Kambo cured it. Like, it's probably not gone forever, but the attack is gone. It's done. Something that probably would have lasted at least another 7 days, if not longer. And it's gone. Like, so that was spectacular. I took a shower, and then I felt completely clean. I went and sat by the koi pond, and I did some hape, and it was very beautiful, and it was very loving. I went for a drive around the Sunshine Coast, picked up a few supplies for the van, got myself a meditating pillow. It was really great. And I slept amazingly well that night. It was probably, after all that purging and then the diverticulitis settling down, I had a fantastic sleep. So it was a really hard day. It's really hard medicine, but the benefit that I received afterwards, it can't be matched by modern medicine.
Yeah, the science around the detoxing that it does is pretty in depth and pretty intense.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
It does some pretty incredible detoxifying that that when you look it up, you can read the science on it, and it is pretty in depth. It's an amazing amazing substance.
It's got it literally draws the toxins out of your body, and purges them. So, I mean, but day one was, it had to help me settle other things going on as it was working in the background to pull everything out. And it did, you know, uh, miraculously it did. It was crazy. Day two, we started earlier. We still chatted for an hour or so before we started. Um, we burned some sage and sponged the room with just burning sage. And we decided to do the same amount because I was so ultra sensitive to the medicine the day before that she decided to do the same amount. So we put one burn on me, and it might have been a little bit smaller. And we did that. And day two was very meditative for me. I didn't purge in the, things flying out of my body way. Um, but I found myself vibrating and shaking instead of purging. I didn't go frog faced. I didn't have the feeling of, being choked or my throat swelling. Um, I actually felt the medicine go up and around, and it was almost like it avoided the whole throat area. It was really kind of weird. Um, but I felt tingling going down my spine, and my practitioner, she said, it's working on your central nervous system. And I had yeah, I had muscle spasms going on in my back for, I don't know, 2 days, and it took them all away. In the 30 minutes I had it on, it was like it got on the inside of the muscles and massaged the knots away from the inside. And I have no more knots. It's incredible. Um, I chatted with my dad later that afternoon. I told him like everything I've told you guys. And I said, so this would have been Sunday. Sunday was the least pain I have been in since my first car accident when I was like a teenager.
Wow.
Yeah. And, I was planning on taking an Advil that afternoon for the pain. I never ended up taking it. Um, and, I'm still very low pain compared to what I have been for the last 40 years. Um, and that to me is just simply and utterly amazing. The benefits from Kambo. I mean, yeah, it's a hard medicine. Sitting there and shaking for 20 minutes. And you could hear like my jaw shook too. So when I talked, I sounded nervous and scared because everything was shaking. And but it was,
I've
it
had
was
that
amazing.
experience.
Yeah, I've seen you have that experience of shaking, and with Kambo actually, very similar to what you went through. Um, that day that you went through that. But I mean, I completely shook. And
That's
she's like, yeah,
it's a somatic energy release. You're purging energy that's been, you
yeah,
know,
and that's what she said. It's working
bought.
on your central nervous system, and it's getting all of that energy out. So let yourself shake. She goes, pick your hands up and just do this. So I did, and I shook, and I was just amazed at the lack of pain for the rest of the day, and then it's such beautiful, powerful medicine. I'm gonna get emotional, and if I do, I don't apologize, and I'll wipe my tears away. Get emotional with me. It's a beautiful thing to do. Um, and that's something I never would have said before. You know that.
Yeah.
This is a beautifully powerful medicine, and on the second day, it didn't just work on that physical pain. The shaking was an emotional pain release. Um, I have lived with a lot of anger in my heart since I was 6. We don't need to know all the reasons why, and there are plenty. But I've had a lot of anger and a lot of shame and a lot of guilt, a lot of hate in my heart. And when I shook, a lot of that released. And I realized that I am less angry. I am not ashamed of myself anymore. And it's a beautiful feeling. And something I wasn't expecting again from Kambo.
Nice.
Kambo, I look at Kambo, I understand that it can help emotions and it can help all of that, but I also know that it's a very strong like physical healer. So I was expecting more of that. Again, you shouldn't expect anything from these medications. You should just let them give what you need because they know. But it helped me shake away a lot of that emotional baggage that I didn't need to hold on to anymore. And it's been pretty amazing. Oh, Kimberly, I have muscle spasms. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Kimberly. Yeah. Yeah. So, and of course, after day 2, we had talked, she was gonna give me some, or do some happy with me. I've got my phone here too, so I can read a little bit about it. So I went and did, more errands and stuff and sat on more beaches. And then I came back and she came down with some happy. And the happy is from the women of the Kanima, the Yaniwa Kanima. So the Yaniwa tribe, and the Kanima is the Yanima princess. And I don't think I'm saying this all perfectly correct, but I'm doing my best. And the hape it was a force femina. So and it was made by these women. I had sent you a picture of the princess that was on the wall. This is the princess of the tribe.
Yeah.
And she was there at one point in time and watched the women of the tribe make this medicine at one point in time, which was really cool. So she came down, it was probably about 8 p.m. on Sunday evening, and she came down with the hape, and we sat on the floor, and she showed me all of her smudging feathers, which was incredible. She has this beautiful collection of smudging feathers, and I got the stories behind a lot of them. And it was pretty cool. And then she brought out the hape and she showed me her pipe. So her tepi pipe is the part that goes close to the nose is actually a hollowed out feather spine. It's really beautiful. And then the mouthpiece is um, boar bone, I believe, if I remember correctly. We'll have her on the show hopefully, and she'll be able to correct any of these things that I've got wrong. And then she showed me her beautiful display of smudging feathers. So we started with a smudge. We used hawk feathers, and she taught me a little bit about smudging. So if you're using hawk feathers, you have to you smudge as if they were flapping. So the hawks are faster with their feathers. So you have to be faster with the smudging. So she smudged me with the hawk feathers and explained this to me. She goes, if I were using eagle feathers, they're much more graceful. So you want to do longer strokes with an eagle feather. And this information to me was golden. I mean, I've never heard any of this. I've never been taught any of this, and it was quite beautiful to learn a little bit. And then, she let me pick out my hape, and she had me hold it versus her putting it in her hand. She had me hold it, and she loaded the pipe from my hand. And we went through her ceremony, which is a little bit different than what I had previously been taught, and I absolutely loved it. And then we did the hape. So she put it up the two nostrils, and then we sat there facing each other. And she was wearing kind of a ruffled loud skirt. She had, when it was done, like I don't know how long I was meditating for, but I was in a pretty beautiful, deep meditation. And about halfway through, I heard beautiful indigenous music, drums and singing, and it was like I was sitting in the middle of a powwow, to be honest. It was gorgeous. When I came out of the meditation, she said at one point in time she wanted to play me the music of these women, and she said she just didn't want to yank out her phone because her skirt was loud and she didn't want to interrupt my meditation. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I said, they sang to me. I said, they showed up and they sang to me. I heard the music. Um, and I have yet to hear what she wanted to play, but I'm going to look it up and listen to it and see if I actually heard them. I truly believe in my heart I did. And yeah, it was a very amazing, loving experience. And then she gifted me the package of Happé that we took my dose of, so I can take it and continue to use it and share it with others. My plan is
Nice.
tonight, when I get to, I'm going to go park in front of a beach tonight, and that's where I'm going to sleep before I get on the ferry in the morning. And I'm going to go sit on the beach later and use it. And I am kind of hoping that I hear the women again, because it was
Nice.
spectacular, and it was very spiritual, and it was very powerful. Because I mean, yeah, to be that sensitive, to be able to hear the spirit is just, it's a gift. It's a gift. Yeah.
What you got going on in the background there?
Oh, I suppose I should have the windows closed, because that's a client that came along for something this morning and they're leaving.
Oh, hi. No. Oh, hey, maybe this
Oh
is
my.
2640. Should we go into ads at this point in time?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we might as well do that, and then we can come back. I'll show you the 2 gifts that she gifted me during the Happé session, and we can talk about the 3rd day.
Okay. Clicking on ads. Oh, wait, hang on. It's time for our break. Time to check out our sponsors and pay some bills. You're here with us live on the Mushie Moment on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Boxcast, CBGTV.com, and paceradio.net. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Cannabis edibles are an effective way to manage pain and other ailments, especially when you deal with your trusted partner, Legacy 420, in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. You see, we lab test every product on site to ensure proper dosage every time, which is critical when consuming cannabis edibles. All Legacy 420 edibles are made by our classically trained baker and chocolatier, and we also have super tasty vegan options.
Our baker has been in the industry for 25 years. She's also a chocolatier. Everything from savory to sweet, your chocolate bars, brownies, butter tarts, you name it, we make it.
Talk to our knowledgeable Cannatex about our incredible variety available. Give your trusted partners a call. Legacy 420 out on your road.
In February of 2022, the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club and Ted Smith were fined $6.5 million. This for helping 8,500 patients with access to medical cannabis. In our interview with Ted, he spoke to us about how people can donate to help in an upcoming court challenge. And here is part of that interview. From what I've seen lately, I believe that you've got something that you're trying to do as far as fundraising to deal with this next court challenge.
For now, people can write checks directly to Jack Lloyd Law Corporation or send e-transfers to save the VCBC at gmail.com. I guess those are the 2 easiest ways for people to help right now.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Are you a cannabis content creator? Are you looking for a place to have your content seen? If you answer yes to both questions, then you need to check out cbgtv.com. CBGTV broadcasting to a worldwide audience. Find us at cbgtv.com.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Welcome back to the Mushie Moment, streaming live to you here at paceradio.net, cbgtv.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Boxcast, and on Roku and Fire Stick. We're back with my co-host and guest, Rev Cindy. Okay, show us the gifts. We're coming back. You said, hey, we're going to show you some gifts.
Yeah, we were going through Happy. She had a box that she was taking her feathers out of, but they were sorted. And she had picked something up. She goes, I want to give you something. And then she handed it to me, and I took a look at it, and I looked at her, and she goes, it's a gray wolf claw. And if anybody that's been following my story, you might remember that Iboga told me that I was the gray wolf. So it was a pretty big deal when she offered me this.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
How do you eat it?
You don't. So yeah, it's the paw pad and the claw, and I'm incredibly honored to have that. It was something that she had acquired along the way, and she knew it was something she needed to keep for somebody, but she didn't know who. And then she met me, and when she touched it, it said that it needed to be with me. And then she went through her feathers, and she was showing me them. One that her, ones that her, one of her kids had made her, different elders had made. And then there was this one smudging feather that had gone through a few people, and the tip had been tattered, so it was trimmed. But it had been well loved and well used, and it had smudged plenty of people. And I was in awe of all of them, I have to be honest. But this one particular one that was made by an elder and fixed and refixed is what she gifted to me.
That is awesome.
So again, I'm going to be a bit emotional here because in any of my medicine that I do, when my mom shows up, she's an eagle. So the two gifts that this beautiful woman have gifted are a little piece of me and a little piece of my mom.
That's pretty sweet.
It's pretty beautiful and pretty powerful. So she said she had visions of it hanging in my van. So I've got a little hook up here beside me, and it hangs in the back of my van. And it's my first eagle feather to be gifted to me. And it's something that, in amongst all of the other gifts of medicine and healing that this woman has bestowed upon me, it's a gift that I hold near and dear to my heart for a very long time.
Nice.
And then she also taught me how to smudge with it. Where it's an eagle feather, she goes, you have to take big, flowy strokes. And I said, okay. She goes, and happy smudging. She goes, keep it in the van for roadside smudging. So it is. This is its home. It is here with me. And then Ashley had gifted me a traveling stone when we were heading towards the van. So the wolf claw and the traveling stone from Ashley sit in my front ashtray with me, so they're always near and dear.
Nice.
Yeah. So my van is being decorated by gifts, and I think that that's pretty spectacular.
The van is
That would
slowly going to become a home.
It is. I mean, well, it already is a home, but it'll become a more and more comfortable home and a more and more organized home as I learn where all my storage spots are and what I already have in here and what I don't want and what I have to change. It'll take a while, but yeah. Yeah, this will be my traveling spring, summer, fall home.
Oh yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah.
this is today's podcast with Cindy on the road, coming from you live.
From wherever I am. It's awesome. I mean, this is a life I've always dreamed of, and I still can't believe that I'm sitting here, starting to live it. It's pretty spectacular. And to start to live it, to go pick it up with two good friends and have you guys share in that moment with me was epic. I couldn't have been more blessed by that. And then, my first excursion myself is to come heal and take medicine. I couldn't have been more blessed with that. It's been an absolutely spectacular first week of owning this machine. Um, and my teenage self is jumping in joy because we're finally fucking doing it.
That's why that teenage self was able to let go of some of that anger in the purge.
Well, and then maybe that's what helped on Sunday on day two. Day two was an incredibly emotionally healing day for me. And then the hape on top of it, and hearing the women of that tribe singing, and then that later on that night, I hung out in here, had my feet up and smoking a joint, and it was just, I couldn't have asked for a better day. It was or better number of days. It's even the even the purging has been part of all of it being absolutely wonderful. Yeah.
Well, that's a good time to segue into day 3.
Yeah, day 3. Ooh, day 3. Wow. I woke up yesterday knowing I was going to purge. I felt it in my stomach before I even drank water and before she was even in the room. I knew it was going to happen. So, I woke up and I messaged her and I said, I'm awake and ready anytime. She came down a little while later, and the first 2 days when we chatted, we very much chatted in depth. Like, I mean, she got to learn a lot about why I came for this medicine. And our chat day 3 was different. And I can't really explain how, because we kind of talked about the same stuff, but we didn't. And there was a different vibe when we talked, and it was me because I was more healed, and I recognized that, and that's pretty cool. So then I started drinking my water, and she said, what would you like today? What are your your spirit guides telling you should have today? And I said, my spirit guides are telling me I should have 2 gates, and we should start off with just one, and in a few moments put the other one on. So we did. And the first one we put on, it was really strong. I felt it, but it didn't bring me to purge. And we both knew that I needed to purge. We hadn't talked about it, but we both knew. So probably about 5 or 6 or 7 minutes in, she would know better than I do. She said, "Are you ready for the next one?" And I said, "Yes, so let's put it on." And she said, "I'm not going to put as much on." So she just literally almost just put a thin layer on top of the second gate, like just enough to say that she put more on. And that was it. Like, I mean, less than 3 minutes later, and I felt it. Like, I mean, I felt it come up. I kept it on. I kept it all on for just under 20 minutes. But then the same thing happened. Because I was feeling choked again, it was making my throat swell again. We decided to take them off. And that's when the purge hit me. And, I had to crawl to the bathroom. I couldn't get up. There was no way I could get up and walk. I had to crawl to the bathroom. I was frog faced again. My neck was swollen. I had to, she helped me get in the bathroom and made sure that I could at least get up enough so I could get on the toilet. And then she gave me my privacy. And it was hard. Like, I mean, crawling to the toilet felt like running a fucking marathon. And again, that wasn't something I experienced yet either. That was a new experience. But then I got into the bathroom and I got seated on the toilet and I got my bucket. I had a nice cold sink to put my head on, so I knew I was ready. Okay, well, let's do this. And then I did. And I mean, I felt like I was in there for close to 10 minutes purging. I don't think I've ever had so much come out of me. The sweating wasn't as bad as day one. My nose wasn't running like day one was, but I was bawling, and I was puking, and I was crapping, and I was shaking, and it everything, like, so much came out of me. And even though it was physical stuff coming out of me, when I was vomiting, it was the water, the 2 liters of water that I had just drank prior. So that was bringing out emotion, like more emotion that got shook up the day before came out in that purge. And I felt it come out. Like, I mean, I knew I was losing more anger and I knew I was losing more hate. And then the Kambo, it pushed all the physical toxins out the other end. And I mean, it really pushed the physical toxins out the other end. And it's just, I am in less pain than I was the day before. And the day before was the second day, and I had gotten rid of a lot of pain then. So the best way to put it is I'm nowhere even close to the Cindy that walked in here. I'm a completely different person. I am lighter both in physical toxins and emotional toxins. I am beyond grateful for that. I have more peace in my heart. I have less chatter in my head. And I feel like I'm ready to move forward with the next step of healing. I'm prepared for the next 5-MeO is what I'm going for next. And I feel like I am prepared to be completely and utterly open to that medicine. I have nothing in me that's going to try and push it away. 5-MeO now has a semi-clean slate to come in and really get down and dirty into that, subconscious emotional healing. And I've got a feeling that I will have a 5-MeO experience like I've never had before. And of course, that's always the way it is, right? But, it's all such powerful medicine. And as much as it makes you purge, and as much as it makes you shake, and as much as it makes you feel like shit and get really hot, it's a temporary thing. At the most, it'll last 30 minutes. And at that point in time, when you're coming off of it, you realize that the medicine has done this to you for love. It loves you. It wants you healthy. And you realize that at the end, and it's so worth it. The benefits and the
and
love.
You'll get more purging out of 3 days of this medicine. Like, I see people that go on detoxing diets and detoxing. We're going to do these detox shakes, and they fight for weeks on end to stick to this thing so they can get through and purge and get detoxed. And the one thing I gotta say is the experience I had. The amount of detoxing it does. Your first day, it basically unloads anything it can physically get out of you that's there waiting to be released. And at the same time, it gets all the stuff that's sitting in the mid-level. It goes, you're next, get ready for tomorrow. And then by day 3, it's dug right down deep and brought that stuff up. And it's like, okay, this round you're going. And, it just digs that deep, deep, toxic shit out of you. And I gotta say, the ability to as much as as much as it's a rough time to go through it, it's not that long of a rough period. And
No.
the amount of benefit, both from the internal cleanse, physically, and it's not even just there's a physical, a mental, and an energetic purge, because there's that energy that just you let go, and it's not a mental aspect to that. It's the body just goes to that next level of going, oh, I can relax to this state and be comfortable here. And it lets go of so much toxicity that point of being there isn't a struggle. Like sometimes with some of the medicines like Bufo, getting to that next level of letting go and relaxation can actually be a struggle because you have to let go of so much. Whereas the Kambo, it makes you let go of the stuff you need so that you're comfortable sitting in that clean slate ready. It's yeah.
This will be my first time going so soon after Kambo. Like, I mean, of course we did Kambo, and we did a little bit of NN-DMT on the last day there as we were getting ready to leave. But I'm really excited to go for the 5-MeO now so soon after the Kambo. Like, I've got a couple of days of integration, and like today and tomorrow of integration from the Kambo and relaxing and resting, but then I go right into the 5-MeO, and I'm really excited for this experience. I think it's going to allow the 5-MeO to work deeper in me, and you'll see a whole new Cindy when I come back Friday night, and it's spectacular, and I'm excited to meet her. I'm excited to let go of more, and I'm excited to heal more.
That's pretty awesome.
Thanks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tripping out on a healing journey in a Volkswagen van. So all you got to do is get a little dog and name it Scooby.
Oh my God, yes. Scoobette. I'm going to be Shagak. I need to get Scoobette. I agree.
Oh, that's funny. Wow.
Or just train one of my cats to like walk on a leash and come with me, and have a cat.
There you go. So Kimberly there said she has she's had muscle spasms for months on end. I kind of just dropped in maybe we can look into a Kambo thing for her as well. So if she, if she wants to leave us a message, do we have access to getting a hold of her off of here?
Yes, she's actually on my friends list.
Okay, perfect.
And she is actually, I know where she is. She's down in Newfoundland, and I happen to know a practitioner that goes to Newfoundland from time to time. So yeah, that is actually something that we can help her with.
Ah, perfect. Perfect. That's kind of the purpose of making this whole thing happen. So
yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Thanks for giving us this opportunity, Kimberly.
Yeah, wow. Healing, it's a two of the hardest medicines I've done are Kambo and Sananga. I've had some uncomfortable situations with iboga, and DMT can have some uncomfortable moments, and same with mushrooms, but it's all very doable. Almost like if you open your eyes with iboga, the uncomfortable stops for a moment. Same with mushrooms, for me anyway. But Kambo and Sananga are hard. Kambo gives you, the best way to explain it is the absolute possible worst stomach flu you could ever possibly imagine times 10. And it'll last anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes. And iboga, or listen to me, Sananga just stings like heck. But they are both two medicines that, if you take the courage and do them, the benefits from these medicines outweigh any uncomfortableness you may have. 100%. I have never felt so at peace with my life as I do right now. And part of it is, I'm living my dream in the van, but part of it is, I've just detoxed a lot of negativity from me. A lot of negativity from me. and with the Sananga, which I haven't done yet, but I want to do when I get back. The Sananga gives, for me, I don't have cataracts. I don't have like other issues with my eyes. I've got some vision problems, but I don't have anything physically wrong with them. The Sananga for me, when we did it back in March, completely detoxed my eyes. Like, I mean, my vision got better. My night vision increased. Like, it was unbelievably better. The floaties that I had in my eyes were, I mean, at least half of them are gone because they were like, it's dirt and dust and whatnot. And the Sananga detoxed that out. So
Oh,
it
it
was very
clears up the eyes
uncomfortable.
pretty damn good. Yeah.
Very uncomfortable, painful, but again, it doesn't last very long. And for that short amount of discomfort, the benefits last months.
And the amount of
For me.
times that I've done it now, because I've done it a couple more times, and I just do it myself now. I do it when my cataracts make my right eye get really tired, and I find it's closing. And if I spend a couple of days of it being closed, then I tend to go, okay, it's time to utilize it. And I'm finding it doesn't burn as long as I use it more, and I find that the benefit of the eye doesn't get as tired and it doesn't close as much on me. Because what happens is when the eye gets tired, because the cataract causes multiple things, and my brain has to try and bring them all into focus as one. And when the eye gets tired, it can't bring it in. It's just like two hands instead of one hand there. I can't. So the eye just closes off, and then this eye could at least focus things in. But
yeah.
So can you move the camera so we get a little shot of the trees and stuff there? Or... Da, 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 da. There we go.
Outside my sliding door.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Hanging out in nature. Oh,
it's fantastic.
Well, I don't hear any frogs. Oh.
That's in the room.
Wow. Okay, so let's go to day one. Your number one takeaway from day one.
Oh, it cured up my diverticulitis. It showed me what it can do for me for current physical ailments. And it cured that up while it was, working on the toxins in the background, so I could feel better and focus on the medicine. And I think that's pretty spectacular.
Okay, so now the takeaway from day two.
There's two of them from day two. What the medicine, what Kambo did for my muscle spasms, was well, there's three really. Blew my mind. Like it took me from I was in pretty serious pain to it took them all away. It also, of course, I got to purge those bad emotions, which I can't be thankful for enough. But I also have to talk about the hape as a takeaway from day two, because doing that hape and hearing those women when they decided to show up and sing for me, that was something unbelievably and amazingly awesome, very spiritual, and even just thinking about it kind of, makes my hair stand up on ends on my arms. It's pretty cool.
And you know where we're going next? Day three.
Oh, day three was the culmination of all of it. Day one, it helped fix me physically. Day two, it helped fix me emotionally, purge some of that stuff. And day three, it said, okay, well, let's take everything that we just helped detoxify you from and let's get rid of it. And it did. It's just, it just said, okay, here's a bucket, here's a toilet, let's get rid of it. And I am still in complete fear of this medicine because of what it does, but I have nothing but respect and love for it. And, coming out of day three, I was already planning the next journey, which will be in September. And I'm going back to my first practitioner, Ashley. She'll be coming down to Nova Scotia, and I'll get to sit with her again. And I am very excited for that. Even knowing that it's going to be absolutely hard and gross and disgusting, I'm going to purge all over the place, but I also know how I'm going to feel afterwards. And I am very thankful and very blessed that I have the opportunity to plan journey number 3.
So let's now go, of the 3 days that you went through this journey and what it's done for you, who would you recommend to do this journey? Who would you say, I would recommend this for people that?
I would recommend this for people that want to heal from almost anything. Kambo is a great detoxer. If you are somebody that fights with addictions, if you can get yourself clean for long enough, Kambo will help flush it from your system. If you are somebody that has eaten the wrong foods all your life and has all these physical gross toxins running through your body, Kambo can help draw those out and clean your system. If you are somebody that is fighting PTSD and emotional baggage and emotional toxins, Kambo can help you flush your system. It's it's not just a physical detoxer, but it's an emotional and spiritual and energy detoxer. It comes in and helps you purge what you no longer need. Right? So you don't need those toxins. It'll help you purge it. You don't need those bad emotions. It'll help you purge it. So yeah, anybody that is seeking healing and needs to rid themselves of toxins, this is an amazing medication for that. But it's hard. Be ready.
All medications are hard. Some of them seem easy because you take them and you go, oh, it got rid of the pain. But it's doing something to your liver. It's doing something to your kidneys. It's there's other, all healing seems hard. But I guess in the end, really, it's only as hard as we make it.
Yep.
Why the hell am I struggling so much? I'm just kidding. On that note, I have to go to It's That Time Again. And we'd like to thank you all for joining us here on the Mushie Moment with my co-host Cindy, myself, our awesome guest Cindy. We're proud to be coming to you live from paceradio.net, cbgtv.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Boxcast, Roku, and Fire Stick. We'll see you guys next week with more exciting information, guests, whatever it is that you're getting from our show. But we thank you for being here. We thank you for spending the time with us. And much love, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyndonega Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.